It happens.
Well, here we are underneath the boat, and we are going to look at all of these spots here. We're going to be grinding all this stuff down so that we can fix it. A lot of these deep scratches aren't really into the gel coat, they're just into the paint, and so we should be able to sand a lot of those out. But spots like this where it is in the fiberglass, we're going to have to repair all of these and some of these deeper ones too. Like back there is going to need some work, and some of these other ones right here is probably going to need a little bit of work. That's what we're going to do today. We're going to grind all this stuff down and then mix up our putty and fix any one of these little spots that need fixing while we are up under here. All right, so we've got most of the bottom sanded down here, and now what we need to do is be able to get to these spots right here, that right there. So what I'm gonna do, I was thinking that I'd be able to get there with it on a bunk. The boat's too small to fit on a paint rack, so what we're gonna end up doing is just blocking it up with some jack stands, raise the boat up, and we're gonna take these bunks, we're gonna slide the bunks out of the way, and then it will just be sitting on the 4 jack stands. Once it's on the jack stands, I'll be able to, move them around with using 5. So I'll take an extra one and put it in position so I can move one and fix the areas where the jack stands are sitting. That way, I'll be able to fix this area, all this area right here, move a jack stand to here, and then take that one off, and then fix that area there. Then once we've got all the glass spots fixed, everywhere that we need to put in some putty or put some glass where there's a hole, once we get all those fixed, we're going to put a barrier coat on it. Doing this will all depend on how bad you hit bottom. If you hit bottom and poke a hole all the way through the boat, then you're going to have to do work from the inside, and it has to be dry. If it's not dry, then your glass isn't going to stick, and it's just going to fail. Your repair is going to end up ripping off. We've seen many boats come in where they put the glass on, they did a halfway repair, tried to do it quick, everything wasn't dry, they didn't get a glass from the inside, and then the repair failed. So if you hit bottom to where it's all the way to the inside of the boat, then you got to get the glass from the inside and fix the inside, then come from the bottom and fix the bottom. Lucky for us, we've already been through the inside, and the inside's already done. We just need to fix the outside, and everything is completely dry, so we don't have any problems of trying to lay glass on a wet surface or on a boat that has a waterlogged hull, because if it's waterlogged, then the water's always going to be there, and the glass again will never stick.
I've been thinking about going down to the
Smaller tank?
a 9-gallon tank. About 18 will limit offsets the weight.
Yeah, that's why I did that. I could put the boat in the water. If I go doing that, then de-rig everything, do everything all over, and I'd rather.
It's always nice to have full start too. 25 drug Yamaha.
Yep.
had one of those.
Yeah. Real tight.
Sketchy, huh?
You know, I gotta admit, I never do like working on boats like this. This is just super, super sketchy. I mean, look at that. Terrible. But it's gonna allow us to get all the way around the boat and get done what we need to get done. We only have a couple of things left to do. I mean, there's only a few spots left, and we'll probably add another stand or something here. Again, we're just trying to grind this, sand that, and then we'll go around and fix all these little spots like this right here. So we've got that's busted up, little phones pop through. So we'll go ahead and grind those things down, fix them with glass, and then once the glass is dried, we will just barrier coat the bottom. We do need to sand again the barrier coat before putting the bottom paint on there, but that's not a big deal. Quick 150, zip around with the sand, and then slap on the bottom paint. Okay, we've pretty much got everything sanded down here, and now I went around and circled pretty much everything that's not circled. I'm just gonna hit with the putty, but here I need to lay some glass here. I need to pack this with putty, and then I'll lay glass over that. Same thing for here, and actually this has already been a repair before. So as you can see, somebody's already did this, but it was probably wet when they did it, and that's why it's came out. So we are going to go ahead and pack this up with the putty. Once it's packed with the putty, we'll lay the glass over it, and I've only got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, I think 5 spots that need to be hit with the glass. Outside of that, everything else is going to be putty. Okay, so I've got this last one all cleaned out. We're down here, and we've got this right here. It's hard to see it in the light, but that's all been dug out. There's a bunch of junk in there. I got it all cleaned out, so that way it will stick when I put my glass over it. I might end up putting a little Dremel tool up in there just to scrape this a little bit and grind it down a little bit more. But other than that, it's pretty much, once I grind that, it'll be ready to lay my glass over here and fix that hole. Other than that, all the other holes that we're going to be putting glass on are ready. And we're back. Here we are. We got the glass done on the bottom. First thing this morning, we need to go around and just like we did here with this putty, we need to go around and find any of these little spots like this right here. See how there's a little dip there? I'm gonna mix up some more of that putty. We're gonna go all the way around the bottom of the boat just with a glove and our finger, just to wipe a little bit of putty into any of those holes. Get all those holes filled, let it dry. In like 2 hours we will be able to come back, sand all this stuff down, and then we'll roll our barrier coat. Once the barrier coat's on there, we'll go ahead and put a layer of bottom paint on the actual bottom. We have to make sure that we get all this bottom paint off. I'm pretty sure this is hard paint, so it wouldn't be that big of a deal, but if it was ablative or anything else, you cannot put barrier coat on top of bottom paint because bottom paint will come off. So you never want to put barrier coat on over bottom paint. We've got pretty much no bottom paint on the boat, but just any little spots that I missed, we need to make sure we hit those with the sander before putting the barrier coat on, so that way there won't be any issues later on with blistering or anything coming off. But that's how we're going to start today, mixing up this putty, going around and wiping any little spots that we got, any of these little holes. Okay, we've got everything sanded down. We just need to move these stands one at a time and hit what's underneath the stands. Like this one here, there's a little spot back there it needs hit. Up underneath this one, there's some bottom paint there, so I just got to move the stand, set up a new stand, move this one, sand it, move it back, and then boom, go around all 4 of them. Okay, we are now ready to go ahead and wipe the whole boat down with acetone. Normally with this stuff we're using this barrier coat here. This is Interprotect 2000 and 2001. And normally what you do is you just, after you get done sanding, you'll spray the whole bottom of the boat with water and let it dry. But in this case, since I'm on the ground, I'd rather not be working in a puddle of water. So we're just gonna wipe it all down with acetone, get all the dust off of the bottom of the boat. Once all the dust's off, we'll mix this stuff up. Now, the instructions for this is pretty much all the preparations done with the sanding and the wiping and all that stuff. But once all that's done, you pretty much mix 3 to 1. So 3 of this to 1 of this. So if you use 12 ounces of this, you're gonna want 4 ounces of this. And that's the way we're gonna mix this up. I will probably mix up 3/4 of the quart, and that way it leaves me with 1/4 left. So that way we can come back and move the jack stands and get the spots under the jack stands. But other than that, the whole rest of the bottom of the boat will be done. I'm hoping that 3/4 of a quart will do the entire boat. It's supposed to do 240 square feet, and it's gonna be close. So for this, once we mix it up, we are to mix it up, and then once you mix it together, you are going to let it sit for 20 minutes. Once it sets for 20 minutes, then we roll it all on, and then once it's all rolled on, right now it's probably about 85-90 degrees outside. We are in the shade, so probably closer to 85. At 85 degrees, it's gonna take about 2 hours to be dry to the touch. At that point in time, I'm gonna go ahead and roll the well, no, I can't do that yet. I will hopefully it'll be dry enough to where we can move the jack stands, and once the jack stands are moved, we will be able to do those 2 spots. After it sets for another 2 hours, we can paint the whole bottom with our bottom paint. And there is a hurricane coming in. Hopefully it won't, but if it does, I am going to need to move all of these jack stands out of here and put the bunks back, because these stands, if we get a storm surge, the boat will float up, the stands will fall over, and the boat will sit down on the ground. Therefore, I want to go ahead and put it back on the bunk. What I like to do when cleaning with a rag like this is you just want to fold it up into squares. That way you can make one pass, get all the dirt and dust and everything off. Then you can flip it over to the cleaner side and wipe back off. And then also, when you fold it open, you've got a whole clean side on that, where you can see all the dust here. And then when you open it up, you got another clean side right there. So that's one way I like to do it when wiping stuff down with acetone like that. We're halfway done. We got half of the boat wiped down with acetone, and that took us just about 12 minutes. So we're in it for 12 minutes. So we'll go ahead and mix up our barrier coat. Once that's mixed up, it'll start drying and curing. Once that's curing, we'll be able to wipe down the other side. By the time we get done, we'll be ready to start rolling this stuff on. So let's go ahead and mix this up. We are going to be mixing this up at a 3-to-1 ratio. Again, kind of want to shake these up. Okay, so this is a quart. We want to do thirds, so 1 quart is, this is only 3/4 of a quart. I thought this was a full quart. So 3/4 of a quart, because this is the other. So that makes a quart. Actually, I'm going to do 18 ounces. So I'll do 18 ounces. That way I can come back and put in 18 divided by 3, 6. So I'll be able to put in 6 after that. So I'll be 18. That'll be 24. So I'm going to do 18 ounces of this. Looking at our barrier coat, we're looking pretty good. This is all dried up. There's a couple spots that could probably use a second coat of barrier coat, but I am just going to move our stands and hit where the blocks were, and then just kind of touch up any of the light spots with whatever barrier coat we have left. There's no need in going and buying a whole gallon of the barrier coat just for these little spots. Once we put the bottom paint on there, it'll be fine. And there was still a lot of gel coat on there, so that's protecting the fiberglass. We'll be all good on this side. Now, all we're gonna do is I'm gonna go get another block so I can take this, and I'll just put this stand over here with the block to take this one down, move it over, do the same thing all the way around the boat so I can get to all these little spots, and then we will mix up a little bit more of the last of the barrier coat that we have, and then we'll put those in those spots, let that sit, and we'll be ready for the bottom paint. Well, I am actually pretty surprised that that 1 quart jar actually did 2 full coats on the entire bottom of the boat. And I know those are not even. That's fine. We're just doing it to do the bottom paint. But other than that, looking pretty good for a barrier coat on the bottom of the boat. Now, what we got to do is let this dry. We'll come back tomorrow. We'll tape our lines off and actually put the bottom paint on. We probably actually won't put any tape on it. What we'll do is just bottom paint the bottom of the boat, and then we'll put it in the water when we get a chance to see where the actual water line is around the gunnels and the front of the boat. Since we did, you know, change this console, have all this weight up here, and the weight of that engine is a little bit different, so the way this boat's going to sit in the water might be a little off. So we will wait until we put it in the water to get our bottom paint line around the top side of the boat. But we will put the bottom paint all along the bottom, get that all painted and done, so I can put these bunks back under the boat, because there is a storm coming and I don't want this boat on these stands, because if the boat floats, the stands will wash away, then the boat will sink down and be sitting on the ground after we just did all this work on the bottom. So that's what our main goal is for tomorrow. Now she's all black, looking good. Need a little bit of touch up here and there, but this is just the first coat. We'll probably end up putting 2 full coats of bottom paint on here just to hit any of the spots that we missed. But actually, I do like this black. I mean, on that blue, the black with the blue and the black rub rail with the white insert and then the white gel coat, I think that looks pretty good if you ask me. Come around here, take a look and see what it looks like. Yeah, I'm liking this. I'm liking this a lot. So, all right, we're gonna let that dry. Once that dries, then we will move these, paint it, do another coat, and then we'll stick her in the water, get our water line, and tape our water line off, and then paint it up. We will need to do a little bit of scratching, like probably 220, just hand where the paint is, just to give the bottom paint a nice surface to adhere to. Good morning, can I get an order for a pickup, please? Could I get a gravy pig with all bacon? over easy. Hash browns. Wheat. And then could I get a veggie omelet with cheese too?